Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Pitch, a daily women's football podcast brought to you by the Global Sport Podcast Network. And today is brought to you by your two favorite Italians, the real ones. It's me, Kate. Hi, Nat.
Hello.
Great. Welcome back. Right, so 3 topics for today. We've got, and we couldn't not talk about, obviously, the new Arsenal women manager. And then we're going to move into the equal FA pay and this campaign that has been happening, taken on from the football teams themselves. And then we are moving into the new prize sums for the Summer Women Euro that was issued by UEFA, and that is very exciting. Right, let's start with the big news. I mean, big, but not big. Big, but also not big. Like, I think we were all a bit there thinking that, eventually Arsenal was going to have to do it and get René to sign. But now it's official. So she is, in fact, the head coach as on Friday morning. And yeah, what do we think about that? I mean, also, what a bang to start. Like, incredible win from Arsenal today. They trashed Crystal Palace at home, as in like an Arsenal home, and very excited to see Leah Williamson back in goal after, I think, since 2003 or something like that, but because of her injury, a bit of everything else. So she must be pretty great weekend for Arsenal women,
Arsenal fan. I think I'm in a happy place today, of course, seeing the great result. But more than that, having the confirmation that Zleger's got the job because she got things done before getting the job quite clearly makes me even more happier in a way. What is surprising is the timing. I would have expected that to be probably said a little bit earlier than that. There were rumors, there have been rumors quite a long time that most likely she was the best candidate, simply because since she took over from Adva, 12 games win, like the team was always winning. You were able to see how also the vibe within the team was completely different. There were more smiles, there were more, in a way, relaxation, so more prone and happy to play. And I'm always a great advocate that if you're happy, you play better no matter what. So I think having this confirmation is just amazing. But again, it's the first time that Arsenal has chosen a woman to see as a head coach, and it's funny that she had to prove before getting the job her value. I found it quite interesting, but I don't know the competitors, so I cannot really talk about that. And I think Arsenal has been taking a brave step forward in a way, and they must have really thought through this quite a long time, hence possibly the delay. And especially, and also think is not just related to her, like to her as a head coach, but more of what Advar disclosed. Now there is not a manager of Arsenal anymore, but is overseas, and how much it was not disclosing before, or even when he left Arsenal. Now is disclosing things, and on the top of that, he also, I think the way he disclosed things was a little bit unfair, on my opinion, for Arsenal, simply because Arsenal believed in him when the fans didn't believe in him. They offered him an extension of the contract, then he resigned. And I don't know if you have heard of his interview, but it's quite astonishing what he said. But anyways, this is not a Heideval chapter. This is
exactly.
René Zleger's chapter. So I'm happy, and I saw a video of her being officially presented to the squad, which was done by somebody that works within Arsenal, and it's quite funny in a way because she's looking at her feet very blushed and very humble. And I mean, woman, you have won 11 times 12 actually, and 13 with today. Don't look at your feet, look up because you deserve that spot.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting what you said about, she had to prove herself before um, being offered the job. I don't know what happened in there. I'm just debating if it could be that maybe she also didn't want to have the job straight away. Maybe someone might have said to her, "Hey, okay, he's gone. So what do you think? How about you taking over?" And she might have gone like, "Oh, I don't know. Like I was not thinking about. I don't know. It could have been. I don't know. It could have worked either way. It could be that both ways said, do you know what? Why don't we have a look? Let me be let me do this because it's quite hard. Like she hasn't done it before, and you just think not to this level, and you just think, wait, like everybody will have their eyes on me. Is that something I want to do? And then maybe kind of like risk to be trashed. And I don't think it's got to do just with the fact that tendentially women are a little bit less secure than men, is the fact that, if Mourinho come in, takes a job, and after, I don't know, 8 games, he's let go because he didn't succeed. Fine, there's another team ready to take it because it's him anyway. It's his name and it's fine and blah, blah, blah. If you're a woman, you get trashed for a long time. And if people will want to, if another team will want to get you, press will trash the other team and go like, she was terrible at there, so why are they doing this, what is going on, etc. So I think there could have been a bit of a both in yeah, like both sides of saying, do you know what, actually, why don't we take a few weeks to understand how it is, how the team responds, how, maybe, I don't know, maybe she also wasn't very convinced. Maybe they had to convince her. I don't know. I have no idea. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. Nonetheless, I think is incredible. I'm very happy. She's also super young. I don't know if she's the youngest. I haven't researched that, but it would be nice to do it. Maybe we do it for the next episode. Just beautiful. It feels like, I mean, she's 35. How old is Lucy Bronze? Isn't it like
32, I believe she is 32.
yeah, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that would be like her in 3 years. That's a big step, It's just like you finish play and then you go there. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's nice to see. I'm very happy. Obviously, I think okay, Arsenal didn't have a difficult game against Crystal Palace, and I have a very soft spot for Crystal Palace. So it breaks my heart that they lost 5-0. But still, I think it was great that, the girls, the Arsenal team probably really wanted to win, to prove that this was a good choice. I know that obviously this news was really, really, really welcomed by all the players. So just really nice. I wish Renee the best of luck. I don't want her to win because obviously I don't support Arsenal, but the best of luck in anything else. And I just want to say before we close the first topic that I am very happy because also Tottenham women got the first win, sorry, of the year. And very impressed by Chelsea that again, another time they trashed West Ham at home. I was debating to go to that game or not, and I really regret that I didn't. And yeah, 11 games unbeaten. I think they want to match Arsenal record. I saw an interview with Alex Scott a few days ago when someone was saying, can someone, can Chelsea be stopped at all? And she said, I think they want to go after Arsenal's record. And I think she's onto something. Yeah, I mean, what a great opening, back into a first weekend of 2025 football for the WSL. Really great. I know the girls are going to talk about it a bit more in the next days of the podcast, but I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, great. And great scores as well. So thanks, Katerina, for up, updating everyone on the amazing performance of the top teams.
The Global Sports Podcast Network is changing the face of football podcast with dedicated daily content for every Premier League game, women's football, fantasy football, and a daily Premier League wrap-up broadcasted in 5 different languages. This is your one-stop shop for your daily football fix. Find GSPN wherever you find your usual podcast. Yeah, so topic number 2, something that we've seen recently more and more teams doing. So there is this, let's call it, trend of football teams in the FA, still in the FA run. Obviously, we're still talking about women, just FYI. And they are posting photos, the classical, the typical, the traditional football, team squad photo. But they have this pose, which is it's kind of like they have one arm on top of the other. And instead of the arm touching, there is like a little gap in between the arms, just to kind of like look like an equal sign. And the reason why they're doing is obviously because still the prize money and some of the other things that go around the FA Cup is very different when we are talking about the men FA Cup and when we are talking about the women FA Cup. And if I'm not wrong, the photo that caught our attention was from Rugby Borough. So yeah, that's why Nat and I decided to chat. So I'll let you intervene on that.
Yeah, so once again, me and you, Kat, are a little bit of Instagram addicted or social media addicted because every time we are on the phone together, it's like, oh, this took our attention, this took our attention. And actually, it's a hot topic because it's not new thing. So the so-called hashtag Equal FA Cup, which is usually used for teams within the Adobe FA Cup that have the pictures taken as Kat just described in that pose, and it's just to remind that there is the women's total prize fund is only 30% of the men's. Actually, a little bit less, in my opinion, but I'm rubbish in maths, so I cannot really say. I passed my GCSE though, just to secure everyone in the call. Um, the men's prize pot this year is, I believe, is 20 billion, whereas the women's one is 6 million. So already those numbers kind of don't add up. It's a protest in a way, and is calling for a fairer distribution of prize money to boost clubs and player development. um, One of those slides reposts that actually involve the Instagram account of Equal FA Cup is it quotes an anonymous player, a professional player, that says it is actually the same competition in terms of rules, boots, requirement, discipline, sacrifice, and injuries. And it has the same costs for the players in a way, personally. But same magic, but at the same time, completely different prizes. So yeah, it's there. And you, Kat, that you have a soft heart also for Lewis FC. You should be proud of the fact that they raised this fight back in 2018, and some other clubs like Worcester City Women, Cheltenham Town Women, and Dulwich Hamlet have joined the campaign. And what I really like about this is not just is delegating just to certain clubs, is a call for action to everyone involved in the game. Like, how can we actively support and do and make this change happen? And they are asking to run a fan campaign, or to send pictures of your home team with the two hands on the top of each other, two actually arms on the top of each other. So I think it's very interesting because I think it's leveling up this challenge. And I wonder if making it bigger might making a little bit more noise, and then making more noise might lead to change.
I mean, it always kind of does it, right? So, I mean, we always need to think that, if you stay silent, you never get anything. So by making noise, obviously we are there. I mean, the fact that, the pot is 20 millions for men and 6 millions for women. I mean, Okay, it's not like a crazy huge difference, but it actually is. It's
20
like,
billion, 20 billion for men and six. Oh, is it a million?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was million. So
No, no,
pardon.
no,
I
no,
thought
that's okay.
I,
Don't worry, don't worry. But it's still a third, right? So it's like if you multiply 6 by 3, that's less than
that's
20.
my math that went all
That's
over the
okay.
place
No
for a
worries, no worries, no
second.
worries. But it's no, it's okay. It's just it's still a big difference, and I think we're gonna get there. We'll be fine eventually, but we will do it only if we do exactly that. And you mentioned some football teams, the Worcester, the Rugby Borough, Lewis. Obviously, Lewis, I'm particularly linked because I'm also one of the owners. So everybody can. So you can just Google it and you can purchase and be one of the owner. But
A
also,
little clap for Lewis over here.
yeah, and also, Rugby Borough and Worcester, they have two incredible owners and general manager with, Nicole and Louise, two women that are really in this because they want to make the women's game better. They want to elevate it. They want to make it more equal. They really fight for their teams. They want to do so much, and it makes a huge difference. And I mean, I think I was having a chat about this with actually a coach yesterday, so quite a professional coach, a woman professional coach, where I was saying that there is this. I don't know if you heard that Chelsea might want to buy a player from United States, and we are talking about 1 million, and that would be like the first time I think that we're hitting that level for a women player, and it's incredible because it's just going to start to raise everything. And it was interesting because when we were chatting, we were just saying it's great that we are raising stuff, but we also need to make sure that we don't wider the gap. Exactly what you were saying before. So the FA Cup, yeah, great. We want to have more prices. We want to have everything, but you can see also that the gap is massive in the men's, for example, as well. You can see what happened with Tottenham going to, what is that, Tamsworth or something, to play the game. How the facilities there are, how everything is. Manchester City is coming to Leighton Orient. Nothing to say to Leighton Orient. I love you all, guys, but obviously very different stadium, very different setup, very different everything. So not only I think with women, the price has to go higher, obviously in line with, but I think also the redistribution has to be in a certain way to make sure that actually, the competition that might not be at the very, very top level, the year after will have the opportunity to implement, to do more, to be more competitive, and to make, the FA Cup one of the nicest competition that is still out there. I mean, you are Italian, so I'm sure you've seen a lot of the Italian comments as well on the FA Cup, and they call it the magic of the FA Cup exactly for this reason, because it still allows certain teams to be able to be drafted around massive teams, big, big, big teams that they will never have the opportunity to play in any other way. But I just think the distribution also needs to be really looked into until we raise all the standard of the women's game. You just said it like a few minutes ago, the massive difference that we still have, that huge gap that we still have between the WSL and the championship, and how, yeah, you can come up to the WSL, but it's very hard to then stay because of that. It happened many times before. We still see it happening. Yeah. So that type of thing. Yeah. So the equal sign. Yeah, absolutely. I love the campaign. I love that they're doing it. I love that it's going to be a trend that a lot of people will do it. And I think, the grassroots teams are also going to pick it up as a supporting on this type of campaign, etc. So it will be a really big movement. But I also think we really need to think about really making that gap much smaller.
Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Yes, Zencastr. Last but not least, in the last few minutes we've got left, we wanted to touch upon the fact that actually on the other side, there is really good news. UEFA has, I mean, it's been out and about for quite a bit, but we really wanted to pick it up again and highlighted this. So UEFA has pushed and pushed. And I mean, what they're doing with their women's side, I absolutely love it. And I was lucky to meet the team as well a couple of times, and they're just doing really great. So basically, what they did is that they pushed and pushed and pushed, and they increased really the prize money, staggering 151%. Sorry, 156%. My bad. But anyway, still big, big, big number. So if we think about the fact that when the Lionesses won in 2022, so only 2 years, well, 3 years now ago, the winner took home 2 millions. Well, this year is going to be five. So that will make a huge difference. Not only, obviously, some of this money will be redistributed to the players, and so as a prize money, and fairly so, but I'm sure a lot of it will be allocated to to the developing of grassroots, more girls into football, more school programs into football, to really feel that pathway and to really implement a lot of the structures as well that are a bit outdated. So the facilities, the places to play, maybe adding some new one. In this way, girls and women also have the opportunity to play not at really crazy timing, but just like more of a normal timings. Yeah. And I mean, I'm very proud of this. I'm really, really, really happy. I want to be there to witness. I think this is going to be a historical Euro.
So, are you gonna go to the Euro? And then I'm gonna go back to the, the price thing. But now I'm curious. Are you gonna go to the
Yes,
Euro?
100%. So the aim
Or
is to
rather,
actually
Katerina will be at the Euro.
yeah. So the aim is to, well, unless something happens that is very urgent and I won't be able to, but the aim is to actually work on on it. I've
Oh,
volunteered already a few times. I have quite a lot of experience on events, football events, that type of thing with my work that I do at the stadiums as well. So in an ideal world, I really would like to work there, so to have that type of experience, and I'm going to try. I've also applied as a volunteer, so either way, if
well,
both of
nice.
them will fail, I'll just go there. My friend lives in Geneva, so I'm gonna stay there. I have other friends in Zurich as well, so I'm just gonna go and see them, and I'm just gonna pick up some tickets once I'm there.
And that is great. I don't think I'm gonna go be there, but definitely it would be such a lovely experience, especially after the Euros here in the UK. But coming back to the prize, I think UEFA also what kind of did something in line of their vision, the vision they share about developing and increasing and widening the women's game, and the fact that they committed with 1 billion euros to the game's development between 2024 and 2030. That is, was has been released also on the day that they met. That was in back in December, and that is great stuff. I think also if you raise the prize money, you can also channel and attract sponsors, but also the quality of the game might raise as well because it's more ambitious, so it gets more competitive. So I think that is a great stuff. And yeah, so I'm just very curious. And I know Maggie Murphy in one of our posts on LinkedIn, because as we said before, we are savvy of social media. But Mary, and for who the ones that don't know Maggie Murphy, she is the former CEO of Lewis Football Club and now a sport consultant. She added that how these kind of prizes can go down the line and really help the grassroots clubs and growing the game from the bottom up, which is what is needed, especially in terms of facilities and all the things that we had the opportunity to chat back in the days when and they've been discussed at a grassroots level, especially here in London. And one of the things that have been discussed in one of the women's forum that I've been attending to. So possibly more higher prizes, more investment, better players. It sounds like a win-win, and I am curious to see where the game goes in 5 years' time.
Do you mean by the next Euro?
No. I mean, as the game, as a women's game as a whole, in the next 5 years' time, I know these Euros you already mentioned would be spectacular, but I'm thinking about also grassroots and what are the players that in 5 years' time we will already hear about, because the game has been growing so much and there have been much more investment.
Yeah, and I mean, I also think that Switzerland really wants to push this year because it's like they are having the Euro at the home of like
Okay,
all
yeah.
all the big football associations are there. So it's like, we wouldn't expect anything less than like superb in every possible way. And I think they are going to do that and they're going to make it an incredible experience. But I can see there is a question in here that someone told us to discuss, which is more investment will attract better players and better sponsors. And will the men feel threatened and demand for more money to keep their game at level? More investment will attract better player and better sponsor. Yeah, for sure, especially better sponsors, but also not just better sponsors. I think will attract sponsors that before didn't even think football could even be interesting for them, and now they think, wait a minute. So you are telling me that if I sponsor this, I can capture, I don't know, 5 million women all together at the same time, and that's exactly my audience. Great, whilst maybe it really wasn't before. So yeah, absolutely zero doubt in there. The other question, I'm gonna let you say something about it before we say goodbye and we finish our episode tonight.
Well, I think it could be. Could it be a threat? And then men gear up, or as you like saying, men up, and try to play better football. No, joking on aside, I think that happened already with the ban of football for women for 50 years. So let's just accept and maybe increase the game, like it's the same game played by men and women, and anyone really, any other gender. So can we just increase the level of the of the show, or the quality of we play? Can we just do that instead of making a man game, a women game? Let's make just a beautiful game.
Yeah, I don't think men will feel threatened. I really don't. To be honest, I really don't. I actually also think, and hear me out in here, but I also actually think that the new generation of high level, yeah, I'm talking about high level, obviously, football players. I'm not talking about the grassroots insecure that maybe still, coming to comment on our Instagram post, etc., to make sure that they can say the women's game will never be as good as. But I just think the professionals, football players, actually have so much respect for their counterparts, and they would be very happy. I think they would. I think the only time that might start to be threatened is if the big organization or the governing bodies will go to them and say, actually, you're now going to get much less money because the money goes in there. Whilst I don't think that's going to happen. What's going to happen is that both level will elevate and they will be happy for their counterpart. That's
Yeah.
really that's how I want to feel, and that's how I will keep on believing.
Yeah, my threat was more focusing not the people who play the game, because I think there should be the same respect. As we talked before, I think athletes respect athletes because they know how hard it is to be an athlete, especially an elite athlete. So I think at where we are now, this is not necessarily happening, but more like people that are in the boardroom. We have still some dinosaurs there that might feel they might feel threatened over there, but that's probably something that we can discuss another time on another pod.
Yes, because sadly, that's all we have time for today. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to welcoming you to the next episode of Beyond the Pitch. Is a ciao from me.
Bye bye.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.